Listen to this chord from Richard Strauss's Salome. Welcome to a headless episode of
Keith Horn's Chord of the Week.
Near the end of Salome, we hear her sing these lines. Und das Geheimnis der Liebe ist größer als das Geheimnis des Todes. And the mystery of love is greater than the mystery of death. This whole section deserves to be analyzed, but I want to focus on two connected chords in particular, the second of which is blood-curdling. The two chords under the word totus, death. The first is a simple E flat minor over B flat. No big deal, right? Except for the orchestration. Let's look at the strings here. We have violin 1, B flat. Violin 2, G flat. Violins can't play a G flat. The lowest note a violin can play is the lowest, the fourth string, the open G. So what's the deal here? Well, if we go back a page in the score and look at the second violin part and zoom in, it says this, and forgive my German pronunciation, I'll do my best. G Seite aufges herunterstimmen. How was that? Was that any good?
Not really.
Tune the G string down to G flat. And there we have it. He's tuning the string down. Now, if you're a guitar player, you're very familiar with this. The lowest open string on a guitar is an E, and then we have A, D. But a lot of guitar players like to tune to what's called drop D, where the E becomes a D, you drop it a whole step, and then you can play power chords much more easily. Instead of having to play them like this, you can play them as a bar, and you can whip through power chords a lot faster. Plus, it just sounds cooler the lower a guitar goes. In orchestral writing, this is called scordatura, detuning of a string, and it's not very common. I mean, you can find it, but it's not that common. And I was surprised when I looked at this chord, G flat in the violins. Oh, it must be scordatura. And I looked back, and it said, sure enough. I had to translate it to figure out what the heck he was talking about because I don't speak German very well. But sure enough, it's scordatura. It's also worth noting that violins can't play vibrato on an open string, so the sound is very dead. And these strings are written muted, or it says mit dampfern. Again, don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Mit dampfern. I didn't want to say mit dampfern. Mit dampfern, which means with damper, with mute, or concertino. The sound is also colder. So that's this one. Simple E flat minor over B flat. No big deal harmonically, but worth talking about the detuning in the second violin part. But the second chord is the one I want to talk about. It's this one. It's a C fully diminished chord, but there's a G way down here. If you look at the score, we have the basses splitting into three parts, playing the lowest possible C minor triad they could play. Way down here. And we have bassoons here, doubling this G, and we have this C diminished. So if we break the chord down and simplify it, it's this. You could see it as a C diminished with a G, or you could see it as a C minor 6 with an F sharp, or a raised fourth. And in a way, it kind of reminds me of what I like to call the beast chord from Bartók's Concerto for Orchestra, which is this. There's a C sharp in the strings, and then A minor triads just stacked. Like that. It's got that same idea of like very muddy, split basses, split cellos, and it makes it kind of a gnarly harmony right there with that split third. It's a similar idea with this chord here from Strauss. We hear this chord return again later with a vengeance when Salome wakes up after kissing the severed head of John the Baptist. Watch this. This time it's a half step higher in C sharp, which is the quote-unquote key of this opera. I mean, it starts in C sharp and it ends in C sharp, but it's not really in that key in the traditional sense. It's just bookended with C sharp. Some would say that is Salome's key. That's the key that represents her in this piece. And this time it's even a little more dissonant. We have the fully diminished seventh with the fifth. But it's also got an A up here. We hear the woodwinds trilling, A to B flat. And we hear the strings. It's almost imperceptible, but in the score we have tremolo violins on an A on top of all of this mess. And not to mention it's also down here. Again, kind of like the Bartók Beast chord with really low minor triads, creating this muddy, dark, ugly sound. We also have a low organ that's doubling this. It's about as dark as a chord gets. And it's worth noting this too, that Salome's motif, Salome's theme, is this. And we hear it right away in the opening bars in the clarinet. Listen to that. And if we take that melody and play the notes vertically, that's the chord we're talking about, except there's also the B flat in it down here. Gnarly.
Oh, gnarly!
And this chord just kind of sits there and grows and pulses, and it's like this frozen horror as she kind of revels in her madness and her delight. And because I love to give chords names, I'm calling this one the Headless Chord. Don't forget to like, sub, join the conversation. I know a lot of you have a ton of information, ton of knowledge and insight, and I always appreciate when you share it. So thanks for all of that. And as always, thank you for listening.
Yeah. Who this? This piece. Yo, who this? Yo, who this? Who this?